Hello, friends. Possibly rare intro. If I keep what I just said right before, usually that's also the cue for me. I'll be like, hello, friends. Welcome back. But welcome back. Hello, friends. A little bit low energy just because I was thinking about it being the secret intro. UFC Fight Night. Vancouver. I don't know if there's an AKA for this one. Fights are in Canada. Spooky hours. Low-key, I feel like whenever the fights are in Canada, it's actually fucking spooky hours, and not for the best reason either. Sometimes there's some weird bullshit with the judges. Sometimes there's some weird bullshit with the ref. Sometimes there's just some weird bullshit. I just swore so much in the first minute. This video is already cooked, but who cares? First fight of the night. Should be a good card, though. Actually, should be a banger of a card. I do think there's going to be some good finishes in here. I'm actually feeling fairly confident about this one. First fight of the night. Melissa Croden versus Tainara Lisboa. I'm going with Tainara Lisboa here. This one's actually kind of spooky. I low-key was thinking about possibly switching over to Melissa, but I was like, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that. Melissa's making her debut. She's the Canadian fighter here. I do like the finishes and the relative level of competition from Melissa Croden. So on paper, that is what I like. She's a striker. She's pretty big. She's also kind of strong. Here's the thing, though. I think that, one, like I just said, she's a striker. Tainara Lisboa is also a striker, but she's actually faced world-class women's kickboxers. Tainara comes from kickboxing. I think she's going to be a better striker, no doubt. I also think Tainara Lisboa is the more well-rounded fighter here. Melissa Croden didn't look the worst in her fights in the little footers that I could find, but again, like, one thing that was consistent across all of them, though, is that she was kind of a slow starter. Talking about Melissa Croden here. Tainara Lisboa isn't exactly like the Energizer Bunny, not like Marab or some shit, but... And it's also important to note that Tainara Lisboa is coming back from a bit of like a knee injury, hiatus, time off, all that good stuff. And on top of that, Tainara Lisboa's wins are kind of over bums. Kind of over bums. She still does have a couple wins. She does also have a loss in the UFC. Hopefully she's the more well-rounded fighter here. To me, in my mind, I like to think that she is. And she's the pick. I'm actually going with Tainara Lisboa by decision. I think that she opened up as the favorite, but she has now moved to the slightest of dogs. I'm going to be backing Tainara Lisboa by decision again. Moving on, spooky hours, kind of. Not fully. Middleweight men's bout, Azamat Bekoev versus, hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Yousri Belgaroui. I don't know. I'm going with Azamat Bekoev here by round 1 KO TKO. I think this is actually not a given, per se. I was going to say a given. If you know Azamat Bekoev, you might think that this is a given. Azamat Bekoev, a bit on the shorter side, but man, is a spooky, one of those stout, like, kind of muscular powerhouses. I was going to say kind of knockout artist. Not necessarily, actually. Azamat's actually extremely well-rounded. Hasn't been able to show it as much in the UFC, but extremely well-rounded. Very complete. The way more complete fighter here by a significant margin, I believe. He should win in round number 1 regardless of what happens, unless he obviously gets finished in round number 1. On the other hand, though, this guy Belgaroui, he's making his UFC debut. He's not exactly a nobody. You know, I think that if you look at his MMA record so far, it doesn't exactly point to him possibly being a somebody. But that's not completely written out here. In fact, we might get surprised big time. He's also to mention, Yousri's huge. He's huge. This is a middleweight men's bout. Man is 6'5". Spooky hours. He is a kickboxer. That's another scary thing. He's fought elite comp, and the funniest thing, when I say elite comp, I'm talking about Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. Poatan, yeah. Poatan, Chama, all that good shit. Y'all love Chama, right? Y'all love Alex Pereira, right? This man, Yousri, actually has a win over Alex Pereira in kickboxing, in glory. Man fought Alex Pereira 3 times in Glory, and he won the first fight, and then Alex fucked him up and knocked him out 2 times after that. Actually, no. He knocked him out. I don't know if he knocked him out in their second fight. Actually, I think their second fight ended by doctor stoppage, and their third fight ended by KO TKO. And I think he fought Israel twice and lost both fights by decision. I think one of them might be a split decision, though. But even then, that's still impressive. That means a lot, actually, to me, somewhat. Man has also appeared on the Contender Series, though. He's tried to get in the UFC before. It just didn't work out. Lost to Marco Tullio, who we've seen. It's just interesting here. It's very interesting here. Man's huge. He's a striker. We'll have to see this one. I'm going to take Azamat Bekoev, like I already said, by round 1 KO TKO. Moving on. Way more complete fighter. Spooky hands. I can literally see Azamat just closing the distance somehow. Yousri is maybe looking scary. Like, before he even throws anything or he throws something that misses, like, he looks scary, but Bekoev is able to close the distance, land a couple hooks, maybe only one hook. Gets the job done. Also, but that's the thing. Also, I have to think, like I said before, if Bekoev tries to take down Yousri and submit him, I don't think that he would have a problem doing that. So it could be a round 1 submission. Moving on. Stephanie Luciano versus Ravena Oliveira. I don't know if Oliveira should be in the UFC. I don't know if she should. Stephanie Luciano low-key should, though, actually. She had if you followed her career, even though there's not the biggest reason to, she had a little bit of a saga back and forth with this chick, Talita Alencar, on Dana White Contender Series and in the UFC. Talita Alencar really is not dog shit, actually. And I don't think Stephanie Luciano is either. Both of these women still kind of green in their general mixed martial arts careers, just in terms of total fights. However, Stephanie Luciano did have a short little amateur career. She did get fraud checked by Sam Hughes, who's one of the first female fraud checks they're going to send at you. But it was a split decision loss. I kind of remember it, I feel like. I also feel like I low-key remember her fading in all 3 of the fights that I've seen her. The Dana White Contender Series and UFC versus Talita Alencar and the Sam Hughes shit. Sam Hughes. I feel like she kind of gassed in all of those somewhat. Ravena, I don't really remember actually at all, even though I'm pretty sure we saw her fight. But what I do have written in my notes, what I remember seeing from Tapology, of her 7 wins, of Ravena's Oliveira's, I hope I'm pronouncing that right as well, 7 wins. She has a record of 7 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw as a professional, 0-1 in the UFC. Of her 7 wins, 2 of those wins, only 2 of those wins, came against women with wins themselves, okay? Not women with winning records, not women with at least a 500 record, a .500 record. We're talking about they have wins. They have 1 win. They have something notched in the win category, in the win column. Now, get this one. Of her 2 losses, right? This one's a bit maybe of a trickier, more reasonable. This one has a reasonable explanation, but of her 2 losses, only one of those chicks that beat her had even fucking fought before. The other chick, it was her debut. Granted, it was also Ravena Oliveira's debut. But that chick didn't go on to do shit. And the other chick, I think that beat her was like 1-1. And this chick, Ravena, was already into her career. I might be mistaken about that one. I really have to believe that if Stephanie Luciano doesn't gas out, she'll win a decision calmly. Maybe even get a finish if the skill difference is that big. Moving on. Prepolac versus Drew Dober. Spooky hours here. Just in terms of, I think someone's going to get knocked the fuck out. Prepolac has yet to win a fight in the UFC. Both of these dudes are actually the same age, but there's definitely a mileage difference between these 2 fighters. And a difference in level of skill faced over their careers. This will be Drew Dober's 25th UFC fight. Yep. I still have to think that Drew Dober is a better fighter. And like I just said, he's more accomplished. Prepolac might win. Maybe Drew Dober is never the same. really. But until I see that, I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with the round 1 KO TKO. I do think someone's getting knocked out in the first round there, nice and quick. Moving on, Danny left-handed god Barlow versus Jordan Santos. I don't know if I'm like forgetting something. Oh no, it just clicked. I was reading the Tapology forums. Like I've said, I always disclose I read the Tapology forums, so I want to see what the people are saying. Even though those aren't the people. Me and the rest of the heads on Tapology, we're literally on an internet forum, so we're not like normal people in that regard. But you get my point. I want to hear the people. I want to hear my peers, at least. What my peers think, somewhat. I digress. I kept on thinking, I was like, damn, why is everyone saying Danny Barlow's shit? Because everyone was going with, like, you know, they're like, oh, I got to go with Danny Barlow. Jordan Santos is dog shit. Even though Danny Barlow himself is dog shit. And I was like, is Danny Barlow that dog shit? I really don't remember. Like, why the fuck do people think he's dog shit? But I was about to mention. Or rather, not even about, I was about to mention. I remembered man's last fight. You're only as good as your last fight. It was actually a brutal, brutal knockout loss by Sam Patterson. But I actually wanted to talk about this. I don't think Danny Barlow's dog shit. Everything that people are saying about him being dog shit, stop listening to that right now. Seriously. Danny Barlow is not dog shit at all. He's moving up in weight. And man was getting knockouts at a lower weight class. He's already kind of a big dude. And this dude, Jordan Santos, I feel like I remember this fight. Man lost to Ozzy Diaz. No disrespect to Ozzy Diaz. But, like, you have to understand how bad of a look that is on its own. Fucking someone's talking. Not the worst. Okay, just going back to Danny Barlow, though, we're going to wrap up with the Danny Barlow talk. It ultimately was not the worst loss against Sam Patterson. Sam Patterson turned his career around completely. I thought Sam Patterson was going to be dog shitty after his debut because he got knocked out by a one-armed fighter in Yanala Schmooze, if I remember that correctly. But man has actually shown not only to be a skilled fighter, but a competent finisher. Or, I meant to say a competent fighter and skilled finisher. You get what I'm saying? Sam Patterson is fucking dangerous himself. He's actually good. He's probably one of the better English fighters in the UFC. It was weird. He was the prospect that kind of got, I'm not fraud checked, but just like prospect status revoked, prospect status re-bestowed, you know? So that's not the worst loss to have for this man, Danny Barlow. And that was kind of a hyped fight. If you knew about both dudes, Sam Patterson got his shit together. He was starting to put together those finishes. Danny Barlow was undefeated in the UFC and as a professional fighter. That was a good fight to make. I remember that fight. That fight was pretty hyped, actually. And Danny Barlow, I think actually maybe even had Sam Patterson in a little bit of trouble and just pushed it crazy and then got caught crazy by Sam Patterson. Caught crazy by Sam Patterson. Fucking insane fight. Insane fight, man. But I do think he'll win here against Jordan Santos. I actually think it's going to be the round 2 KO TKO. Sometimes Danny Barlow doesn't necessarily start slow. I mean, actually, no. He does. Sometimes. Sometimes it's going to be normal. It depends. I do think he matches what people give. Moving on. Danny left-handed god Barlow, again, the pick there. Round 2 KO TKO. Moving on. Bruno Silva versus Hyun-Sung Park. Kind of spooky here. If you look at Bruno Silva and you haven't watched all of his fights, you might get the wrong idea. For better or for worse, actually. Bruno Silva is not bad. He's not a bad fighter. I literally have written in my notes here. It's deceptive in a good and bad way, right? 4-4 in the UFC. That's a veteran of the UFC, to be straight up. All 4 of those wins are by KO TKO, all by finish. The thing is, some of them are a little iffy. Some of them are against competition. And the losses, man's actually on a horrible skid right now. In fact, I think he maybe was never the same after one of these wins. The win being against Cody Durden, which I remember I put that as the thumbnail for the video, for the recap video, because that made me sad, actually. I picked Cody Durden to win that fight. Because I actually think Cody Durden's quite talented type shit. And in Cody Durden's style, man literally was molly-whopping Bruno Silva, beating the dog shit out of Bruno Silva the whole fight. And in deadass, like the last two, and I want to say it was even literally possibly even the last minute. It was definitely the last round. This guy Bruno Silva hit him with an unholy uppercut from hell, and literally sent this guy Cody Durden's mouthpiece flying. It was bad. It was bad. But man was literally on the verge of losing an extremely decisive ass beating, essentially, and that one turned into a win. After that, Bruno Silva started to get knocked the fuck out. I think it might low-key continue here. Hyun-Sung Park is actually a bit of a killer, very well-rounded, good finisher, and his losses, if you look at the losses, it's to fucking Tatsuro Taira. You know, that's one of the top active dudes in the game right now. So that's okay, and it wasn't even like it was a first-round finish either. Hyun-Sung was able to survive a little bit. I actually feel like he even landed something decent against Tatsuro Taira there. But I might be mistaken on that one. Might be mistaken on that one. Actually forgot what I have it. I actually have Hyun-Sung Park winning this one by decision. There possibly could be a finish here. I just thought someone was at my door. There possibly could be a finish here. But Bruno Silva is pretty tough. If there is a finish, I do want to say that Hyun-Sung Park is going to get it. We move on. Charles Jourdain versus Davy Grant. Dangerous Davy Grant, man. It's queer. It's a bit odd, isn't it? Davy Grant, yeah. In the best form of his fucking career as of late. Man's pushing 40. That's the scariest part. I am going with Charles Jourdain here to win by decision. Just because I really am. Charles Jourdain did bounce back nicely from that Gene Silva loss. The loss was to Gene fucking Silva. He's still young. Still got some left in the tank. I also think that this fight, Davy Grant does sometimes get into these, not necessarily sloppier, but brawls, close pocket exchanges, extended pocket exchanges as well. And Charles Jourdain likes that. He likes that a lot. I'm going to go with the slight speed, the slight physical advantage just from the youth for Charles Jourdain in those exchanges. I don't think anyone's going to get finished, and that is why I am going with the decision. Slight speed difference. Both guys roughly the same size, but Charles Jourdain is literally 10 years the junior of Davy Grant, and actually has more fights than him. Both have similar experience in the UFC. Technically, Charles Jourdain, the more seasoned UFC fighter by one fight. You know, another thing I get scared of, right? Always picking, not necessarily betting, picking and betting, whatever. Choosing the older fighter to win, and when I say older, I mean they're significantly older, or they're like 38 plus, whatever the weight class is we start getting into the point of like, they are in that sense like a ticking time bomb. Like their body, not their skill, not the spirit, not the mind, their body could give out. No bullshit. At any time. Or not even it could give out, it could just literally change gears in a noticeable way. You know, they're just not as fast. It could change gears. I don't want to say give out. It could just change gears legitimately, and maybe you don't realize until it's time. Charles Jourdain by decision. Moving on. All right, now this is spooky hours. Toss-up time. Coin toss time, I think. Kyle Nelson versus Matt Frevola. Matt the Steamroller Frevola. I'm going with Matt Frevola. By round 1 KO TKO. I actually think a majority of the finishes, or all the finishes rather, are going to be KO TKO finishes, and they all are going to happen in round number 1, except for one of them. That being Danny Left Hand to God Barlow versus Jordan Santos. But back to Kyle Nelson versus Matt Frevola. Again, I was also thinking about switching here, actually, from Matt Frevola to Kyle Nelson, just because I was remembering. I didn't even watch it back. I was just literally remembering how bad Matt Frevola looked in his last fight. That was extremely fucking concerning to me. And I'm praying that was a fluke. I'm being serious. It sounds simple because it is. I'm praying that was a fluke because I have to think that in my mind, Matt Frevola is legitimately a better fighter than Kyle Nelson, has faced better fighters and beaten better fighters already than Kyle Nelson. Kyle Nelson is moving up in weight. Kyle Nelson is kind of spooky. But again, I do feel like Matt Frevola is the more lethal one-shot fighter. This one is a coin toss, though, to me. To some people, it might not be. It's a coin toss to me. But again, I'm going with Matt Frevola by round 1 KO TKO. If it gets out of the first round, I don't know who will win, but I do think it will go to a decision. Someone was at my door. I'm not sure where I was with Matt Frevola, but I believe that was enough. Matt Frevola by round 1 KO TKO. Moving on. Cody Gibson versus Arichi Lang. Fucking terrifying. Again, spooky hours here because I guess I'm going hardcore against the grain. Many people seem to be going with Cody Gibson here. I understand why. Cody Gibson definitely has more chances to win, more methods to victory, paths to victory, whatever you want to call it. And Arichi Lang hasn't been the Arichi Lang that I feel like is in my mind or has been in other people's minds as of late whenever they think about picking him. Arichi Lang has looked worse and worse. Saying all this shit doesn't make me want to pick him, even though I fucking am. But you just gotta wait for it. In my head, this is like a decent match. If Arichi Lang can deadass stay on his feet, he actually does have that little power, right? Like, where did that go? I don't know, man. Like, fuck, now I kind of want to switch last minute to Cody Gibson, but again, Cody 38. Cody's 38 and Cody has never looked like fucking Davy Grant. That's the thing. Cody is 38 years old and he has never looked like Cody Grant. Arichi Lang now got the dog shit beaten out of him by Daniel Marcos and got out of that one with a no contest. But I could see him getting a finish here. I don't think it's 100% like this where like a guy's like the whole superstition, spooky hours, trends, all that good shit. Schizo talk. That's schizo talk, psychobabble. We're actually good on that shit. Arichi Lang, round 1 KO TKO. Round 1 KO TKO. Manifest. Please no Cody Gibson decision. Cody Gibson decision? Probably. But I feel like there's actually a couple risks that I'm going to take on the card, and I guess we might even continue here. Manon Fiorot. Or Fiorot. French chick. Versus one of my favorite female fighters. One of the channel's fucking favorite fighters. As obviously not nice Cole. Well, that's what I like saying about her, right? I am not nice. I'm nice Cole. I'm also not nice Cole. But I digress. Jasmine Jasudavicius. I fucking love this chick, man. Dog. Jasmine, a real struggler. Cue the fucking guts theme. She's actually the real struggler here. Everyone, again, counting her out. There's motherfuckers literally writing online. They're like, yo, I love Jasmine's run too. I was backing her as a dog in her fights. Her run was crazy, but it ends here against Manon. Maybe, motherfucker, but we're not giving up. It might even be a slightly emotional pick, right? I think that Manon Fiorot... Fuck, actually, I might have... I didn't stat check that. I didn't, really, fact or stat check this as much as I should have, but I feel like Manon, a lot of her advantage and edge that she's utilized has been against smaller chicks that she's able to kind of overpower, essentially. Jasmine Jasudavicius is strong. I think that Manon might be the slightly better grappler. Nope. Might be the slightly better striker, but Jasmine Jasudavicius, I'd like to believe on the other side of that same coin, is the slightly better grappler. The thing is, people I've seen people say like, "Oh yeah, I don't doubt that Jasmine will get takedowns." But the thing is, you think that Manon can get up from the takedown? If Jasmine actually can get Manon Fiorot to the ground, because there's a chance that she can't get her to the ground, and I'll just look like a fool as Manon goes to take her to a decision to 30-27. But and might even beat the shit out of Jasmine just because Jasmine has a chin and she walks forward. But if Jasmine actually can get her down, I think that she can keep her there. Jasmine's used to this shit. This is the shit that Jasmine does. This is the shit that Jasmine does, for real. Jasmine earned her spot to be there. Manon Fiorot has been fighting fucking Rose Namajunas. Been fighting top chicks. They've been giving top chicks to Manon Fiorot. But not Jasmine. Jasmine, they've actually tried to get the fuck up out of there a couple times. And she said no. I'm going to go with Jasmine Jasovicius by decision. But if there was a submission, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. Jasmine, man. We're going to be rooting for Jasmine. That's actually one of the... That is probably... Honestly, the fight I'm looking forward to the most. For real. Or one of them, at least, definitely. But... Definitely. Should be an insane fight. God, here we go, man. And this is the featured fight, question mark? It is the featured fight of the night. Marlon Vera, a.k.a. Chito Vera, versus Aiemann Zahabi. Aiemann Zahabi. This is crazy, right? I feel like this is like a fucking terrible stylistic matchup for Chito. Man, Chito took some time off. He said he needed the time off. He is on a bit of a skid. He's on a 2-loss streak. The 2 losses are against former champions. Dudes that are literally the best in the world at fighting. That's no shame in that. Man's 32, not old at all. And does have that crisp, sneaky striking technique. The thing is, Marlon is like, I'm not going to be the one to say like, oh yeah, man throws 3 strikes around. I don't think it's like that. Like, people do say that. It's not like that, but Chito is a slow starter. He is legitimately a slow fucking starter. Like, and sometimes it bleeds into the second round. Dead ass. On top of that, right? On top of being a slow starter, Aiemann Zahabi does what he needs to do. Like, he fights extremely smart. He works the defense crazily, stays out of range, gets his shots in, gets his points off, and then ducks back out. He I don't know. I could see Aiemann Zahabi literally just avoiding Marlon Vera, basically, getting like a couple exchanges in, coming out on top of those exchanges, essentially, and literally winning every round off of that. And Marlon Vera the entire time is just walking forward and chasing Aiemann Zahabi. I could see that happening. And maybe Marlon Vera has some moments. Maybe catches Aiemann Zahabi as he tries to cut away, but really, unless Marlon Vera gets a finish here, I don't see him beating Aiemann Zahabi to decision. Aiemann Zahabi's style is very deceptively like unorthodox, I think. It relies a lot on defense, but not only defense, like straight up disengaging. Like actually fleeing the scene, getting out of there and coming back. Like, I don't know if Marlon has the answer to that, per se. I really don't. Interesting to me that Chito Vera is a slight underdog, but I guess I agree. So, I'm going to say Aiemann Zahabi by decision. There's actually maybe a little bit more I should say about that, now that I think about it. Because, like I said, Marlon Vera, it wasn't like it wasn't like I was not thinking of picking Marlon Vera, switching to Marlon Vera. In fact, some of my friends of this channel, are picking Chito Vera. And I was listening to what they had to say, like, and I looked into it a little bit more. The thing is, Marlon, even though those losses were to top guys, we've seen him lose in that fashion to dudes way below this. Aiemann Zahabi is a different style of dude. You know, I'm not saying he's a different caliber of dude. But you got to be careful with a dude like Amin is going to study. Amin knows Marlon. Amin probably knows how Marlon fights. It's funny, right? Because if you go back and look at other Amin Zahabi fights on this channel, I'm shit-talking Amin low-key. I don't buy Amin fully, but I don't know. I'm going to pick him here to win by decision, so watch him lose. Oh, that's actually what slipped my mind. What fucking slipped my mind is Amin Zahabi's last fight, right? Controversy. A lot of people thought that his last fight versus Jose Aldo was a robbery victory, was a robbery win. He was gifted a win by the judges. It was a close fight. I think a lot of that is also maybe twisting how people feel about Amin. But you have to think how Amin fought in that fight. You know, he showed he was tough as fuck still. You really don't see Amin get hit a lot like that, but Amin did get hit like that in that fight a little bit. Man got dropped bad by Jose Aldo, but he survived and even got some work in himself. Amin Zahabi by decision is the pick there. Moving on to the co-main event, Kevin Holland versus Mike Malott. Or Mike Malott. Cops after me. This is another crazy one, right? Because this is actually like insanity. It's insanity. I'm trying the same thing. I'm going with the same shit and I'm expecting different results, right? I'm going with Kevin Holland by decision here. There's something about the style. Now, I'm prepared for everyone to call me a dummy. Go ahead. Dislike the video now if you want to. But or drop the comments. Start rating the comments. Start rating the comment and dislike the video. But before you do that, actually, no. While you do that, I feel like the style of Mike Malott is just perfect for Kevin Holland. And this is a fight I actually did switch back and forth on. My initial pick is Kevin Holland. I switched to Mike Malott. I switched back to Kevin Holland. I think Mike Mallett's a lot hungrier, a lot not a lot younger. He's actually older than Kevin Holland. Way less mileage. And the thing is, Mike Malott has shown that he's levels above that Neil Magny loss. That Neil Magny loss has really overshadowed his career. People are starting to catch on to it. Kevin Holland has been on the opposite end of that spectrum, where I feel like people keep on picking Kevin Holland, me included, and possibly me right fucking now. People are picking Kevin Holland because of his past achievements, because of his previous fights. When lately he's been showing us he's completely fucking unpredictable. If you pick Kevin Holland or bet on Kevin Holland, what you're picking or betting on Kevin Holland to be or do, rather, is literally the best version of himself possible. And you might think that you're doing that any time that you pick a fighter, but they don't have to. There are some dudes that really don't have to be at their best to win fights still. They can grit through it. They can tough it out through other means. This might sound like a really nebulous or convoluted thought, but when it comes to Kevin Holland, you're basically betting that you're going to get a good Kevin Holland. There's a chance that you get a dog shitty Kevin Holland. But I say all that to say this. I saw some weird shit about Kevin Holland wanting a couple rematch fights, fights that he lost, the D-Rod shit. The D-Rod shit made me sad. The D-Rod shit just straight up made me sad. I also feel like I'm in a place where Kevin Holland, I can't do anything right with him. If I pick against him, he's going to fucking win. If I back him or I bet on him, he's going to lose. But I digress. Kevin Holland has a massive reach advantage in this fight. I'm for whatever insane... It is an insane reason. It's just insanity. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's madness. I just think that Kevin Holland is going to be different. Fuck it, I said it. I think Kevin Holland is going to be different. I think he's going to look crazily against Mike Malott. Maybe not crazy, but... I was going to say crazily decisive, but I decided not to say that. I just have a feeling about Kevin Holland, man. I can see Kevin Holland being able to keep Mike Malott away from him, keep him off him at distance to a decision, straight up. I could also see Mike Mallet possibly face planting Kevin Holland. But we're not going to talk about that. Kevin Holland by decision. That's the play. Moving on. Renier de Ridder versus Brendan All-In Allen. The main event. I guess I'm going against the grain here too. I'm still not fully 100%. I'm like 75% sold on RDR. Not 100%. I just need to see one more. One more good one. And I'm going with Brendan All-In Allen here. This one's kind of spooky to me. Again, because I feel like Brendan All-In Allen, despite how good Brendan Allen actually is, just straight up skill-wise. Like, if you were to just analyze all his techniques, all the skills, like, he's really, really fucking good. Smoked Kevin Holland, finished Kevin Holland early in his UFC career. There's something about, like, he has that kind of, like, Cowboy Cerrone shit. Man lost in, like, the biggest fights of his career. The fights that he really needed to win. Not should have, per se, but needed to win, Brendan Allen lost. Sometimes he lost bad. But he's still extremely skilled. I like to think that he's a better striker than Renier de Ridder. I don't know if he is. I just like to think that. Again, that's why I say I like to think some things. Because I don't know. I just like to think that. RDR, again, on the other side of that coin. The grappling specialist, but he can strike a little bit, you know. Brendan Allen, I'd like to think, is the more well-rounded fighter in terms of, like, his striking and grappling is, like, still overall higher than Renier de Ridder's striking and grappling, you know. Maybe not the grappling, but both. Those two bars are, you know. If you picture them as like bars on a bar graph. I also think that this one goes under. I think this one gets stopped within the first 3 rounds. I don't think this one sees the 4th round. I think Brendan Allen might get it done with, funnily enough, a similar combination or exchange that he got finished with when he fought Chris Curtis. I could see literally a short hook, short quick exchange from Brendan Allen actually dropping RDR. That's another thing. I want to see RDR's chin get really checked. I want to see RDR get, like, punched in the fucking mouth hard. You know, I swear to God, GM3 was doing that. Gerard Mearshart was actually punching this motherfucker Renier de Ridder in the face, and it was causing real problems for him until RDR touched his chin, and then GM3 he realized, he like woke up, and then he was like, oh shit. But I want to see a little bit more. I'm going with Brendan All-In Allen. Fucking Renier de Ridder might get it done, and he might make it look easy. I actually think that Brendan Allen is the dog right now. Because RDR, even if you've seen all of his fights, like I made sure to write this down, he is 4-0 in the UFC. Man has racked up wins. One of them was against Bo Nickel, who got fraud checked at the highest level. That's okay. That was great, actually. That was a lip-biting pleasure. But I want to see more. I want to see more. He's a bigger dude than Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen's slightly younger. And, you know, what do I always say? I like the experience that dudes pick up in the UFC, you know. Brendan Allen closing in on 20 UFC fights. This will be his 18th fight under the UFC promotion. Renier de Ridder, this will be his 5th. And granted, the dudes that RDR is being, like, those dudes also have a fuck ton of fights in the UFC. Fair enough. But this is Brendan Allen we're talking about. It's time to see. I think it's going to be a great card. It is going to be my birthday on Saturday. During the Smoky Hours fucking Fight Companion, we'll also have, I guess, a little birthday celebration for me too, or something like that. One of the best ways I could spend my birthday, honestly. Deadass with you guys, watching some fights, going crazy. We'll be chiefing it up, chilling. Great time. I hope to see you there, honestly. I'm trying to think. I feel like I had more to say about the outro, but maybe not. More content coming soon. I might even hit a random sporadic live stream working on said content. Maybe not, though. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Like the video if you like the video. Dislike the video if you dislike the video. Like I said before, for whatever reason, just dislike the video, like the video, comment on the video. Please comment on the video. I love to read the comments. Please comment on the video. I'm begging. Subscribe to see more. Please subscribe. And let me know in the comments if when I say subscribe, does the subscribe button light up? Does it flash or do anything? If you're already subscribed to me, maybe it won't. But if you haven't subscribed to me, I want to know. Like, I want to know. How does that work? Like, I've seen that work on my phone when I'm watching a motherfucker's video, and they're like, subscribe, and the shit lights up. It's just cool. Schizo talk. My throat is destroyed from talking. I'm also tired as hell. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you on Saturday. Maybe tomorrow. Smokey Hours Fight Companion. Not nice cold birthday stream. Which one? There's no need to choose. Why not both? Why not both? For the third time. Thanks for watching. Much love. Big kiss.